Hi there everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's about that time of the year. The season has begun. We're getting ready for, Christmas shopping and everything, and then we also have 2023 coming up on us. So it's about time we get the Man's Woodland Perspective Calendars out. So these are the proofs that I got in from where I order from, and we'll just check those out. And on this side, we'll have a little pop-up for each photo so you can actually see it in detail and not have to, squint at your screen to see what the calendars are. So we have 3 versions for this year. Personally, I'm pretty excited for these. These are, the typical, oh, this is better than what I did last year, which I honestly believe in. And right off the bat, the price will be $30 per calendar. And if you're in the US, I will pay the shipping myself and have it sent to your address. And if you're outside of the US, you can contact me and we'll try and figure out any kind of shipping that might incur. And to contact me, you can respond to my email address down below. I'll put it at the top so you can find it a lot easier, so you don't have to scroll all the way through the jib-jab that I have down there all the time. So the first one we have is Birds Volume 4, titled In Flight. And on the front page we have a blue jay. Then as we go through here, for January we have some blue-winged teals. One of my favorite birds. Don't see them a whole lot, not super common for around here. February we have the Baltimore Oriole. It's kind of a photo I've been kind of hoping to get for quite a while. March we have a surf scooter. Scoter. I might be pronouncing that wrong. It sounds extra New England to me. And then April, we have a kingfisher with a baby pike in his mouth, a pike fingerling. That was actually photographed in one of my paddle videos if you want to check that out. For May, we have a red-shouldered hawk. June, we have an osprey with a rainbow trout. That was one of my favorite photos that I got this year, honestly. July, we have a Cooper's hawk. August, we have an American coot skipping along the water. September is the common merganser. October, we have the Canada geese, or as my 1-year-old says, goose, or gee. She says gee. Doesn't quite have the S on there yet. November, we have a double-crested cormorant. December is a triplet group of tundra swans flying through. Now, as you can kind of tell with the photo, it's very glossy. It's a heavy cardstock. It's pretty thick. It's not really going to bend a whole lot easier. And I added a border around some of the pictures this year in the calendars to kind of help the image pop a little bit more, I think. And also, instead of putting the title of the subject inside the picture, I just put it down below. As you can see right here, where it says Tundra Swans, I kept all the subjects and titles on the calendar portion. And then I also changed the type of calendar that I have displayed on here so that your Saturdays are listed in red, so it's kind of easier to glance to see everything. And also there's more white space around the outside in case you want to add extra notes for things that are going on. It's kind of hard for me to pick a favorite between all these calendars. I don't know, I just appreciate every one of the shots. It was kind of hard to narrow down pictures just for these 3 calendars. I did have a couple extra calendars that I might use for next year, so we'll see. We'll see how this year's sales go. So that was the first one. The next one is called Aviation Volume 2. It's got this cool little stunt plane on the front. And since I got the Z9, Aviation has been so much fun. So now that I can do some real cool slow motion photo and video stuff. So for January, we have a P40. February, we have a Golden Knights parachute trooper. March, we have an FA-18 Super Hornet. That's probably one of my favorite pictures for aviation. This one and another one later in the calendar. April, we have the Coast Guard rescue helicopter Sikorsky. MH-60T Jayhawk. I had to look at the calendar. I wasn't going to remember that. May, we have the Blue Angels F-18 Hornet. Now, this is not the Super Hornet that they have this year. This is from a previous year. I just really like the photo, and it came out pretty nice on the gloss for the calendar. Because this year they're flying the Super Hornets. They've since retired the regular Hornets. June, we have the MiG-17. This has been on my bucket list for a while. I really enjoyed seeing this thing with this giant afterburner coming out of the backside. Then this is another Super Hornet Rhino. This was a fun shot to get with all the vapor coming off the wings as it did a hard G-turn. August, we have the General Dynamics F-16 Viper. I really like the paint scheme they had on that. September, we have the B-25 Mitchell, Georgie's Gal. This was, if I remember the story correctly from the air show, an older gentleman funded the restoration of this B-25, but he passed away before they were able to finish it, and that's why it's named Georgie's Gal. It's named after the founder, which is pretty cool. It's a nice little tip of the hat. October, we have the Vought F4U Corsair. That's been on my bucket list for a while. It's one of my favorite planes, favorite warbirds. November, we have the Boeing Stearman, which is a World War II trainer. And this was a couple years ago, but the lady on top of the plane that's upside down, her husband was actually the pilot, and all I can say is that's quite the married couple to have that ability to trust. And then we have, finally, for December, the Donald McDonnell Douglas F-15 Strike Eagle. This has been something I've been wanting to do for an extra. The F-15 has been on my bucket list for years. I was so happy we were finally able to see it. So that's the Volume 2 for aviation. Pretty enjoyable. Like I said, I can't pick a favorite. I just like them all. And then finally, we have my 2023 black and white landscapes. This is my first version of this. If it does well, maybe I'll continue to do more like this style. So if you like it, let me know down below. And also, if you're watching this, you don't obviously have to buy a calendar. I just like to show off my work, and if you appreciate it, let me know what you think in the comments. So real quick, this was actually a thunderhead that was I think it was over top of Ohio Pile about 6 years ago. So for January, we have the frozen pond over at Brush Creek Park at sunset. If I remember correctly, I think it was like 10 below zero, 15 below zero this day. It's going to be kind of hard to see on the camera. But on the calendar, there's a little bench right here. And that's my wife sitting on there waiting for me to finish taking pictures. So February, we have a snowy, frozen beach out at Presque Isle State Park. March, we have the breakers on Lake Erie, protecting the banks. This was, I believe, Brush Creek Park. This was at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and some nice rays coming through for the sun. It was pretty nice. It was actually quite a beautiful morning with the fog and the sunlight come streaming in. So May, we have another beach on Lake Erie with some driftwood, storm clouds in the background. June, this was actually a sunset over top of North Swickley. I don't know, I never really, at the time, I just took the pictures, I thought the clouds looked pretty cool. But as soon as I changed it to black and white, I really appreciated how everything turned out. It's like a grayscale. It starts at the bottom and works its way up. And the clouds are highlighted by the setting sun. That turned out really nice on print. July, we have a thunderstorm. This was in Garland, Pennsylvania, overlooking the valley. There's a tiny little radio tower right here, and we all know how tall radio towers are. So I feel like it gives pretty nice scale for the center to show how much distance there is from the rain cloud with the rain spewing down over the mountain across the valley. I don't know, I like giving the sense of scale for large objects to make them look small for landscapes. That's pretty attractive thing to do, I think. Then August, we have the main body of the Kinzu Reservoir up in the Allegheny National Forest. Has some anvil thunderhead clouds in the distance. And if you look closely, there's a little speedboat down here. Again, giving sense of scale to everything. We have September. This is in Minister Creek, overlooking the Allegheny National Forest. We have Moraine State Park. This was a 6-minute, maybe 7-minute exposure to get the lake to be perfectly flat and to have the sky streak across with the clouds. So here in November, we have the Marie Antoinette overlook. I don't remember the exact town this was. This was, I want to say 2018. And if you just Google Marie Antoinette overlook, it'll be the first thing that comes up on Google Maps. But there's quite an interesting story about this. And if you want to read about the story, it does involve Marie Antoinette. I suppose you should just go give it a read, because I enjoy it. I'm a history guy, so it was pretty fun. Then we have December. This is in North Swickley Township. We have some rolling hills in the township here that kind of look real pretty with a fresh coat of snow on it for the farmland. So I thought that was pretty cool with the different densities of grayscale on there. So if you enjoyed these 3 calendars, again, it's Aviation, Birds Volume 4 in black and white landscapes. Drop me a line down below what you thought of the photography, and if you're interested in buying one, they're $30 for U.S. residents, and if you live outside of the U.S., send me an email and let's try and figure out shipping costs for that. And again, U.S. residents, I'll pay the shipping myself. I just need your address, and I accept payment through PayPal. And I'll leave my email down below so you can send me a message if interested. Now, going forward, I think my next video, I'm really kind of hoping to do a very in-depth video on waterfall photography. So if you're into that kind of thing, stick around, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and until the next time I see you, good luck out there. I'll be rooting.